Game of Thrones Season 8 Finale Recap, Break the Wheel. Sunday's Game of Thrones finale, arguably the biggest moment in episodic TV this century, is over. After 8 years, 8 seasons and several dozens of hours, the epic fantasy drama is behind us. Game of Thrones Season 8 has been controversial, and is perhaps encapsulated best by last week's episode, The Bells. It ended many of Game of Thrones' longest-running and most important plots, including the deaths of Cersei and Jaime Lannister as well as Daenerys Targaryen's descent into Mad Queendom. But it also sparked a backlash, which led to more than 1 million fans signing a petition to have the season remade. So not only does the finale have to end one of TV's most historic shows, it also has to jujitsu bitter fans into feeling satisfied. The roughly 90-minute episode was split into 2 parts. The climax of Part 1 was the death of Daenerys Targaryen at the hands of Jon Snow. Jon chances upon Grey Worm and his squad of Unsullied executing Lannister soldiers. The war is won, Jon says, and there's no reason to kill these men. Grey Worm, who now wears a permanent scowl and is extremely hateable, says he's acting on the orders of the Queen. The two get into a testosterone-fueled confrontation before Jon decides he needs to speak to Daenerys. Before either Tyrion or Jon can make their way to Daenerys, who's fresh off her descent into villainy, she gives a victory speech to her forces by the steps of the keep. Jon and Tyrion stand behind her. Somebody please cue the ominous music. The second part of the episode was essentially epilogue, and takes place weeks after Daenerys' death. It begins with Grey Worm leading Tyrion to King's Landing's Dragon Pit, where Jon and company brought the White Walker to Cersei in Season 7. There we see a gathering of Westeros' great lords. Bran, Arya and Sansa Stark are all there. Samwell Tarly is there. Robin Wren and Jon Royce of the Vale are there. Sir Davos Seaworth and Sir Brian too. After the scene in which Bran the Broken is anointed, Tyrion, now the Hand, goes to see Jon, now the prisoner. I couldn't help but think their dialogue was directed at the audience as much as it was to progress the story. The first scene of Game of Thrones saw Brothers of the Night's Watch venturing north of the Wall, where they were murdered by White Walkers. The last ever shot of Game of Thrones was Jon, along with a squad of wildlings, riding north of Castle Black into those same woods.